Hello, 5th and 6th and 7th and 8th graders. Miss Bennon here. I'm down in the corner. Hi. Before we get into the project, I want to give you some background on pop art because that's what our project is going to be based off. And this project is for the next 2 weeks, okay? It's a little more time consuming than printmaking, so that's why it's for about 2-ish weeks, all right? So if I can open up my presentation here, my video should go away, okay? So pop art is this art style from around the 1950s or 1960s. Pop is actually short for popular culture. So people would turn normal everyday things that are popular and turn them into art. So this could be anything from celebrities, movies, comics, books, advertisements, big labels, any common thing you can find around your house or your kitchen or around your place, people would make it into art. And originally, it wasn't meant to be art necessarily. It was made to kind of make fun of the art world, all right? So it wasn't like formal painting where you're sitting at a canvas spending hours and days and weeks on one piece. It was kind of fast, furious, get it done, lots of color. It was supposed to kind of be kind of goofy compared to normal art. So, two artists during this time that you may or may not know are Andy Warhol and Roy Lichtenstein. If you don't recognize them, perhaps you might recognize some of their work. Andy Warhol was really well known for his prints. He did a lot of screen printing for his art, another type of printmaking that we did not do. So could you imagine printing Marilyn Monroe with a potato? That'd be pretty crazy. So his Marilyn Monroes were very, very well-known, recognizable pieces of art. But he also was well known for those giant soup cans with crazy colors and Coca-Cola bottles. And if you Google his art, there are so many bright, colorful examples of what he's done with his printmaking. And Lichtenstein was well known for his comic book style, so maybe you've seen art like this around. Both are really popular for t-shirts or clothing or things you might see in the store today. So our inspiration for our project is going to be Andy Warhol's Marilyn Monroe collage with lots of bright, crazy, weird colors. All right, so let me see if I can get out of here. Perfect. Now that we're done with that. So for those of you that would like to make this a computer photo editing project, I already have 2 videos posted, so you are welcome to go to those now because the rest of this video is going to be about the drawing portion. So if you're watching this and you're like, I don't know which one I should do, if you have decent internet and maybe a computer mouse, I would try doing the photo editing one. It's kind of like Photoshop and it's a good beginner project for some of those tools. And those videos will get into the details a little bit later. However, the rest of this video is about how to set up your project if you have a piece of paper and want to do a drawing. So, if you're going to leave now, now's the time, right? But for everyone else, try to get a piece of paper that is white or blank, or even if it's a solid color, I guess a lighter color. But our goal for this project, we actually wanted to make it into a square. So if you have most paper is rectangular, if you don't have a ruler to measure, you are more than welcome to get your paper and do a very light fold. Now you remember kind of back in the days where you made fortune tellers or you did origami, if you fold this top corner until it's at the bottom of your paper, it will make this kind of triangle shape. I'm using a piece of scrap paper that I had lying around. So if you fold it down like this and you try to get that corner to be flat and the whole bottom to be in line like that, it's helpful to use a table. So I'm going to gently press down. You don't want to do too heavy because you're going to draw on this. And then you can draw a line right where that one is, okay? So you can kind of hold your paper down with your whole hand and use a pencil, preferably if you have one. If you have a pen, I guess you can use that. It's just small lines. And then you cut it. If you don't have a scissors, you can fold that line a few times. Get it a little wet. I can like dip my finger in a little cup of water. Don't soak it, but then gently tear it It makes the tear a little bit cleaner if you get it wet. If you don't get it wet, you'll survive, okay? But the goal is to have a square piece of paper, all right? From there, we're actually going to divide our paper into 4 boxes. Whoop, Miss Bennon already did hers. Again, it's helpful if you have a ruler so you can measure it. A typical piece of printing paper is 8.5 by 11, so your square would be 8.5 by 8.5. And that means these little dashed lines, I put a little line at the top here with my ruler at 4 1/4, because 4 1/4, 4.25, plus 4.25 is 8.5. So it doesn't need to be a perfect square with squares. If it's a little off, I'll forgive you, okay? Now, from here, if you're drawing, if you saw my example was with Marilyn Monroe, and you're like, ooh, Miss Bennon, I don't think I can draw 4 identical people. That seems like impossible. That's fine. Instead of that, you could keep it simple. You could do, I've seen people do emojis before. I've seen people do flowers. I'd like to keep it a little bit more advanced than just doing like a circle, because you're 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th grade. You can definitely do a little bit more than that. So as long as it's a little bit more than a basic shape, that would be great. So I'm going to quickly do some emojis because that's trendy right now. If you want to do a repeated thing, it's sometimes helpful to have something to trace that is a circle or a square. You can make one out of scrap paper, cardboard, just so it's the same every time. Or like I said, I'm not going to judge if it's not perfectly perfect. So I see something I'm going to trace. Be right back. Duct tape. I love duct tape. It has a great circle in it. And it just happened to be lying on the counter. Perfect. So I'm going to just put this on the table. And I like tracing the inside of it. It's an easy circle. Boom. Done. Trying to get them roughly in the same spot in each box, but I'll survive. You'll survive if it's not perfect. I know there are some perfectionists out there. You're going to make it, I promise. Okay? So, I'm going to draw, and your emojis don't have to be the same. Your whatever shape you're doing or your object does not have to be exactly the same. So if you wanted to do a Superman logo in one, you could probably do a Batman logo in a different one, or the Flash, or the Green Lantern, okay? It can be a little different from each one. So if I wanted to do emojis, maybe I make a happy one. Maybe I make a grumpy unibrow, angry unibrow one. Maybe I make a sunglasses guy. I'm just doing this really fast right now because why not? I'm cool, sunglasses guy. And maybe I'm going to do a sad guy because he's sad I won't get to see you. I'm really sad that this year is like over. It's a bummer. This is Miss Bennon right now. So anyway, when you have your drawings finished, roughly done, the next and last step is coloring, okay? If you have markers, that's what I would recommend because it's the biggest, brightest, boldest colors out there. Color pencil just isn't as bright. Still works though, still colorful, does the job. Crayons work, that's good. If you have paint, you can paint it, it's fine. The only thing with paint is that if you're using a really light, kind of flimsy paper, it's more likely to curl and get wrinkly and kind of go a little crazy. So if you are going to use paint, A, don't use a ton, or B, you could tape your project to a cardboard or a flat piece of something, maybe like a cookie sheet that you don't mind getting a little paint on. As long as you're not like eating it. Don't eat paint, it's bad for you. That's generally what that project looks like for drawing. It's much faster than the computer editing ones, but the computer editing ones are going to look really, really nice. So if you have questions, let me know. Whether you did the drawing or whether you're doing the photo editing, all projects should be turned into the Google Classroom, okay? If you email them to me, that's fine. It just gives me extra work because I have to go into my email and then I gotta go into the Google Classroom to say you did it and then I gotta go over. So it's a few extra steps for me, but I'll survive too because I'm tough. So hope you're having a good day. Stay in touch, stay good communication with everybody you know. Hope you're having a good time. Hopefully it's warmer next week. It was cold this week and it made me sad. So maybe next week when it's sunny again, it'll be a little nicer. So Anyway, let me know if you have questions, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.